coaster amusement park rides have origins back to ice that's constructed in the 18th century in Russia. Early technology featured sleds or wheeled carts that were sent down hills with snow reinforced by wooden supports. That is what led to the first modern roller coaster, which opened in Paris on July 8, 1817. The roller coaster featured wheeled carts securely locked to the track, guide rails to keep them on course, and higher speeds. It included 3 wheeled carts that were towed to the top of a tower and then released to descend 2 curving tracks on either side. It spawned half a dozen imitators, but their popularity soon declined. However, new innovations emerged in the early 20th century with side friction and under friction technologies to allow for greater speeds and sharper turns. By the mid to late 20th century, these elements intensified with the introduction of steel roller coaster designs and the ability for them to invert riders. Besides all the materials that are used and manipulated to create roller coasters, majority of its advancements occurred during the modern revolution with the help of collective learning. It would be divided into as many thresholds as it takes to include each additional material that was used, correlating with a specific innovation. Each of these thresholds, ingredients, and Goldilocks conditions would be based off of new information gained to be able to innovate new products and the new materials that are enabled for usage. The Paris coaster remained the gold standard until 1884 when Coney Island unveiled the switchback coaster. By the turn of the 20th century, Coney Island had already made a name for itself with the Loop-de-Loop, a coaster that featured 2 small loops side by side. A couple decades later, meanwhile, in 1925, a roller coaster in Revere Beach, Massachusetts, known as the Cyclone, pursued another feature. It was the first roller coaster to reach 100 feet tall. Disneyland released the first roller coaster with steel tubular track in 1959 with the Matterhorn bobsleds. Disneyland's innovation marked a turning point for roller coaster anatomy. In 1976, Six Flags Magic Mountain in Valencia, California unveiled Revolution, the first modern coaster with a loop. Suddenly, all theme parks demanded they have their own looping coaster, and what was no longer enough. As the years passed, more roller coasters with newer and better features were better created.
The Russians were the first to come up with this idea of thrilling entertainment. The ice slides were modified and changed into wax slides and eventually evolved into carts with wheels. The wheel carts were used to transport coal using a railroad track in America. Through collective learning, the idea of wheel carts inspired others to create their own kinds of amusement rides. People made their own types of amusement rides using the wheel cart idea, which would end up causing a boom in amusement rides in America. Coney Island was one of the first amusement parks to be affected by the amusement ride craze. Because of collective learning, the people creating rides in Coney Island was able to improve upon the ideas of past ride creations. The Matterhorn bobsleds opened up in Disneyland on June 14, 1959. This ride was the first roller coaster to have cars travel along a tubular steel track. This use of a tubular steel track kicked off the roller coaster revolution and influenced the thousands of thrill rides we have today. Collective learning allowed people to share their roller coaster designs and engineering to others, improve upon those ideas, and eventually come up with a completely new and better design. Roller coasters have been improving in construction and ride design through the multiple innovations produced by collective learning. The first roller coaster to be looked at is the Leap the Dips, located in Altoona, Pennsylvania. Built in 1902 by the E. Joy Morris Company of Philadelphia, Leap the Dips is North America's last surviving side-friction roller coaster. A side-friction roller coaster is a roller coaster design that has 2 sets of wheels, normal road wheels and side friction wheels, to prevent the cars from derailing on sharp curves. The second roller coaster design is the Leap the Gap concept that is displayed by Cannon Coaster. Cannon Coaster is located in New York's Coney Island in the year 1902. The coaster was designed to accelerate downwards a cannon and supposedly hop over the gap. Unfortunately, after numerous crashes with sandbags, it was soon realized that the roller coaster would be too dangerous to operate. The third roller coaster design is the lap bar. The lap bar was invented by Chris Voigt in order to keep passengers from flying out of the cars of the roller coaster Drop the Dip. This roller coaster was opened in 1907 in Coney Island and was considered the first modern high-speed roller coaster. The fourth roller coaster design is the Matterhorn, located in Disneyland, opened in 1959. Matterhorn was the first tubular steel coaster. This coaster influenced the coasters that we have today. There are more coaster designs that are considered as important roller coaster innovations, such as inversions, vehicles operating in reverse, and a hydraulic propulsion system.
These innovations are the foundations for most of today's coaster. The Smiler at Alton Towers Resort, located in Staffordshire, UK, is a prime example of coaster inversions. The Smiler currently has the most track inversions, with 14 traveling at speeds up to 85 km per hour. The Incredible Hulk coaster at Universal Orlando wonderfully illustrates a hydraulic propulsion system. The launch reaches a max speed of 108 km per hour. The next big innovation in roller coaster design will probably be a coaster that leaves the track, jumps over a gap, then lands on the track again. A coaster like this has been desired by many roller coaster fanatics everywhere. The idea has been dismissed because of the impossibility of such a coaster, but technology is always improving and risks are always being taken. Small changes and innovations are always being applied to roller coasters, but I believe the next big innovation will be a coaster that leaves the track, jumps over a gap, then lands on the track again.